wakey, eggs, and bakey. Welcome back to PM in the AM, a comedy podcast for listeners of all ages, where my co-host Porter McNeely and I go into all sorts of weird internet topics that we can find. You know, we spend way too much time searching online for you guys so that we can bring you all the craziest stories, topics, listener-submitted questions, anything that we can find that we think is funny, we bring to you guys. Porter, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Blake. That was quite the intro. I mean, you were spitballing, going right, top of the brain right there. And that was excellent. I could honestly say that's got to be top 5 intros all time on this show, I would say.
Wow. I mean, that's an honor. I mean, we know that my intros are usually pretty rocky. And that is largely because about 3 seconds before we hit record, you reminded me, hey, you have the intro this week. And and just what comes out of my mouth is pure panic. Like, that's all that I black out, don't know anything. So to hear that it was top 5, I mean, we've been doing this for a while. That's a good compliment.
No, that's definitely really good because there's just so many things that go on in that moment, so many things you could possibly say. But you said something very important, though, and that is that we are the ones scouring the internet for the insane things going on, Blake. And I have to say, this week I was sent a story by multiple people that felt that it was just absolutely perfect for the podcast. I even sent this one to you. And so that's what we are going to be doing for our ridiculous roundup this week, the segment where we bring you insane news stories going on, news stories that shouldn't happen. And we had a Delta flight this week that was leaving Atlanta and it was headed to Barcelona. Like, I don't know the exact distance of that flight. That's a long flight.
Yeah, I have to imagine that's a good 12-hour flight minimum. I have no idea. It's a long ways though.
And they were out over the ocean when somebody had an oopsie. But this wasn't just any oopsie. This was an oopsie doopsie up and down the aisle, and it was diarrhea. And so I got to get your take on this, Blake. Obviously, absolutely disgusting. The plane had to turn around and head back to Atlanta because of what the pilots radioed in as a biohazard. And so,
yeah, that's what I was going to mention. This plane was in the air. It was headed to Barcelona over the middle of, what is that, the Atlantic Ocean?
I think so.
Yeah, nailed it. It is over the Atlantic Ocean. And then all of a sudden, because somebody had to eat some nasty Taco Bell, I can't imagine what they could have eaten, that made it so they could not get to the plane bathroom in time. Maybe they were in like the middle seat and it was just a real, nightmare trying to get out of there. But the fact that they had to turn this thing around, I'm trying to imagine everybody else on this plane. Because, how far out did they have to get as they're making this decision of, okay, do we turn back? Do we just, press forward, throw that guy out of the... What's walking
cabin?
the plank on a plane? Is there an equivalent?
Floating the parachute?
Yeah. They're gonna open up the door and just
descending rapidly to Earth.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, yeah, parachute for sure. They'll give them a shot, but they'd want to poke him with a long stick, because if this was bad enough to turn the plane around, I have to imagine this man's shorts were just an absolute travesty.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, you got to burn those.
It has to be shorts, right? There's no way that if it was pants, I think more of the retention aspect would have helped him to not stink up the entire plane. And I think one of the most gross details is actually that they released the scent of what they were trying to cover up the smell with, and it was vanilla. And so, but it apparently did not do a very good job. And so can just say,
you've heard of vanilla bean. This was like vanilla and beans. Like, this was, imagine you take vanilla and you have a vanilla candle and you just take a poop in it. Like, I'm sorry for the visual, but it will not be pleasant. They cannot mask this thing. They needed to bring out every sort of chemical and cleaner they had. Make mustard gas for all I care. Put me out of my misery, but do not combine vanilla with diarrhea. That's what my mama always said. Don't combine vanilla with diarrhea.
Oh, that is just a brutal, mentally you can kind of envision that situation. That's horrible. I cannot imagine that, I don't even think they like paid the people on the plane. Like I feel like they should have got some sort of kickback from Delta. Like
Yeah,
they should get free flights for the next year just for like living through that. Or did you think they released the oxygen masks so they like came down, the thing that goes around your head and they just I
they had
think that would have
better.
been a great
Yeah,
idea.
they had better. Now, granted, do you think if you had an oxygen mask, you could just say, you know what, power through. I don't want to have to go back to Atlanta. Try to figure out how to get back to Barcelona. Because I don't know how far out they were. I don't know if that article said or how long this trip was. I'm hoping it was like 30 minutes. They could get out, burn the plane, hop onto a new one, and they'd be off again. But I'm imagining they grounded this thing, had to deboard, and they just like put everybody in a hotel and said, "We'll try again tomorrow." But imagine, because going to Barcelona, that's a big trip. Like that's not a weekend getaway. This is something you've been planning for months, and to not be able to go because somebody
Somebody
had
went.
somebody went before they got there. It's just unbelievable to me. Have
Yeah,
you
it
seen
just
all the things? Because you mentioned that this was, he had to have been wearing shorts, which obviously because if the splashback was this severe, you know,
that's a lot of leak.
yeah, I mean he's got. I don't even know what shorts like. This was like a 2-inch inseam. This dude was wearing a speedo. I think is what it was. I can't imagine having this. But have you heard all the things online? And this is maybe I'm just on a weird side of the internet, but there was this whole thing going around that people shouldn't be allowed to wear shorts on planes.
I
Totally
haven't.
unrelated to pooping yourself. Like this was a totally different topic.
If this is like fresh, maybe big long pants sent this man on a plane to crap himself. If they're trying to get shorts banned on a plane, who would it
Hmm.
be? Levi's because they want more people back
Yeah,
wearing
no, yeah.
jeans.
Big jeans. Big jeans is on top. They're sending people to poop on your planes. You heard it here first, people.
All of a sudden, we see a post. It's like Wrangler. It's like if this would have happened in a pair of Wranglers, it would have all stayed in the cheeks. There would have been no leakage. I've never pooped. I don't think I've ever pooped my pants wearing like a jeans at all. But I can't imagine very much of it would like leak through.
Now,
That's a sturdy pant.
why did you specify wearing jeans?
I I don't want to talk about it.
No, I mean I
No, I
respect
will.
it.
I will say, and I will not claim how old I was at the time.
Mm.
I have had a short situation, and let me tell you, a lot of leakage. That's why I said he was
Shorts.
wearing shorts.
Short. I mean, look, I think everybody at some point in time has had the occasional what my nephew at a young age called juicy toots. Everybody's had one of those. You make a little bit of a mess. It happens, young or old, it doesn't matter. You get a little bit too confident by letting one squeak out, and a little bit leaks out. It happens. But to full on poop your pants,
Let's just say I shouldn't eat jalapenos.
unbelievable. Oh man, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think we got to get down to what this guy ate because I mean, not only it had to have caused this, what I can only call an attack on planes. Like this was this was awful. But I mean, what could it have been that made him
Well,
just
remember, this was like this was a long time ago. We were doing weird product reviews and we came across sugar-free gummy bears. And somebody I think they actually managed to enter the bathroom, but they almost had a very similar situation. So it's whatever
on a plane? That's right.
yeah, exactly. It's the artificial sweetener in like sugar-free products or whatever. And it's just an absolute nuke to your stomach. So this
Yeah.
guy probably, was just trying to be healthy. He thought, I'm going to save some calories so when I get to Barcelona, I can have whatever the heck is their main dish there. I have no idea. But he
Mm.
was going to have two of them because he was saving up his calories. Unfortunately, he was back in
Yeah. No.
Atlanta with 150 people that absolutely hated his guts.
Oh man,
Literally.
I wouldn't be throwing hands with this guy because I wouldn't want to get that close to him. But I'd probably be like throwing my luggage at him. I could get some distance on that thing.
They
Start
had
swinging
to
it.
have left him in the bathroom, right? Like you can't come out. He just was locked in.
Dude, if it's bad that they have to declare it a biohazard and land the plane immediately, yeah, no, they better lock everybody that was contaminated and him in the undercarriage of the plane where they keep all the luggage. Like, I don't want them anywhere near me.
This story isn't necessarily the. I don't know why this came to me at this point in time, but I guess it kind of relates. But have you ever gone, you're like at a public place and all of a sudden you just have to go really bad and you can tell it is not going to be good. So you go use the stall and this place could be busy, and a line forms outside the stall while you're doing your business and you commit an absolute crime and it smells worse than anything should possibly smell. And you unlock, you finish your business, you unlock the stall door, you walk out and you don't make eye contact with the guy going in because you know he is about to walk into an absolute war zone.
You know what's worse too is if there's like a line of people who are waiting to go and you walk in and let's say you're at like a party or something, so it's not like a stall where it's already all aired out, but if it's one of those like private rooms, at somebody's house or something, and you walk in and it already stinks, then you walk out, and if there's a line, then the next guy who walks in thinks it's you. How do you make it clear to everybody else that it already stunk before you went in there?
You're just done at that point. Everybody at that party is saying Blake bombs, disgusting. He should not eat pizza or whatever you're having. That's just a bad situation all around. You gotta. I'm telling you, I've already suggested this before. You gotta go with poopery wherever you're going that you think you may have to use it, other than public places, because if it's just like a random person you see real quick as you're going out of the stall, it doesn't matter. You're not going to see that person again. You just know that you're making their life miserable for the next 2 or 3 minutes. But who cares? But if you're at somewhere private, somewhere where you're going to be with people that you have to continue to associate with,
Mhm.
you better go prepared.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what I'm doing immediately. I'm walking in, I'm saying, "Woo!" Just right off the. I'm letting everybody
Nobody's
know.
even looking. You're just like, by the way, it
I'm
smells
like,
horrible.
"Yo, this reeks in here." Before I even like go in, I'm gonna open the door and start proclaiming it. That way, even if it doesn't stink, I might do it just so that everybody knows that it wasn't me. And then the second option is that I'm just gonna like leave the door open and pee, because that way nobody will be able to blame me because they'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, that's the weirdo that peed with the door open." But I'd rather
Yeah, I
be
was
the
gonna say.
weirdo that peed with the door open than the guy who ruined somebody's house.
Oh, so you're saying because you want people to be able to see that you're just peeing, you're not
Right? Oh
pooping.
yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's a bold move. I mean, shout out to the Delta passengers that had to endure that. I think that is one of the most awful things you could have to endure is being stuck in that smell. And then, probably add some stinky chemicals to it, making it even worse for however many hours they were trapped on there. But Blake, I was kind of thinking as I was reading this, where are some other places that you think it would be bad for this accident to have occurred?
For somebody to poop their pants, I'm just gonna guess anywhere is pretty bad. But if we want to narrow it down to the worst moments, a wedding would probably be pretty unfortunate. Because then, if it's your own wedding, you are. I mean, if you're standing at the altar, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
Because I'm imagining your wife's walking down. She looks beautiful. She's picked out the perfect dress and, you know, just has waited her whole life for this moment. You're standing there looking at her, and then all of a sudden it just. And it hits you. And if you have to go, that would be unfortunate for that moment of your life to always be remembered by. I saw my wife in the wedding dress for the first time and immediately pooped my pants.
that would, yeah. I mean, there's no way that's ever happened. If that actually happened,
Oh, it for sure has.
I hope the other person didn't say I do yet. If that has actually
I
happened,
mean,
because that would be
people get
brutal.
nervous on the altar all the time. You already kind of got like a queasy stomach. It's if you haven't, you were busy, so you had to run and get some you had to eat some bad leftovers in the fridge because you didn't have time to cook anything, before your big day. I'm certain somewhere in the world this has happened.
Yeah, I think you might have come up with the absolute worst possible
Mm.
place. That's a big moment. Yeah, I was thinking of like somebody giving like a public speech. You're just up at the
Mm.
podium, you're talking
Yeah,
to the crowd.
presidential inauguration would be
Oh,
bad.
but that's honestly more likely now than ever, just because they don't have control anymore with the ages those guys are landing in office at.
Yeah, look, if you poop your pants during your inauguration, you should get impeached immediately. Like, look, we made a
True.
mistake. Obviously, this is a sign. We need to find somebody else. So let's run it back and do this again.
Oh, that's wild. All right. Well, I think we did a good job covering this story. We are going to be doing a bracket coming up next of the best infomercial products ever. It's going to be a sweet draft, so make sure you stay tuned. We will be right back with that. And we are back. We've got another morning drive debate coming at you guys this week, and we are going to be drafting teams of the best infomercials of all times. And Blake, how much TV did you watch? How many?
As a wee lad, I loved watching TV back in the days, and I'll tell you what, I loved me a good infomercial. I was a sucker. I never got anything because my parents were too smart to let me have anything, but I really wanted everything on there. So I'm excited to do this one because it took me back to my childhood. I mean, there's still certain like jingles I remember to memory, or like just different infomercial like things that I can recite to this day. And so I didn't even have to look anything up. These were just all off the top of the dome because I'm all in on these.
Dang, see, I had no idea. I honestly kind of just thought about it the other day. I was watching an infomercial and reminded just of the glory days of TV when it would be, we didn't have cable at my house growing up. So it would be a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon and nothing was on. And I'd flip to a random one of the analog stations and they would be making the most delicious looking pancake poppers in some food contraption that had no business ever being invented,
Mm.
but it looked
Just
absolutely delicious every
cutting
week.
anything you can imagine with the best knives around, apparently. I mean,
Yeah.
it was phenomenal. I loved it. And, they always had like on the old, Disney Channel and stuff that like kids spent all their time watching. They always had these cool toys and everything else that were just targeted right at them.
Oh yeah.
And,
And it would say 4 easy payments of
yeah.
$99
And
and 95
I was always like, Mom, that's so cheap. Like, it's not even that much.
Just 4 times. No, the best part was it said on like the kids channels, he's like, make sure to contact your adult before purchasing. Like,
Yeah. The thing that always
that was like
killed
the
me
law.
on make sure you get your the thing that always killed me about the infomercials is that 9 times out of 10, it was always like, but if you call within the next 3 minutes, you can get
True.
a whole nother
Oh.
set for free. And I'm like, few questions. I don't think that they actually cared about when you called, if it was in the next 3 minutes, because those commercials played every 3 minutes, probably. And then
Oh
also,
yeah.
half the time, like, let's go back to the weird cooking thing. Why would I want two of those? It was always like, just any kitchen appliance you can imagine. If you ordered it now, you get a whole new one. And it's like, great. Now I have
You,
two of these things that I don't need.
and you know what it never came with? Some sort of like I mean, they would sometimes like slash the price,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't like we're gonna go half price because instead of just giving you 2 of these things, is I was like, we're gonna cut this price down and to go like $10 like
Mm-hmm.
cheaper. Like those commercials were crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I'm excited to get into this. I don't even know who has the first pick today, but I don't know if I really care because just I have 8 great ones in my
I
opinion.
think it's yours.
Oh,
I think
well,
you've got the number one overall
okay.
pick today.
Well, then that puts the pressure on me because now I got to figure out which one of these I like the best. And
Yeah, that is a lot of pressure.
I think I'm going to go with just a classic. I mean, this is a household name now, and it started out as an infomercial, and that is what keeps you warm. The blanket with sleeves.
Hmm.
It's the Snuggie.
Oh yeah, great pick.
I mean, I think that to me, I think that that is one of the. It's got to be like the most successful infomercial campaign of all time because I mean, literally everybody knows what a Snuggie is now. I mean, there's knockoffs of these things now that started off as these weird products. Like this is,
You
uh,
got the Huggy and the warm, cozy
yeah,
blankie.
yeah, and it all started with the Snuggie. And I remember, I mean, you had the lady sitting on the couch with her arms through the blanket reading a book. I mean, it was uh,
No, it started out
classic.
as somebody trying to like read a book under a blanket, and she had to put her arms out, and they were like ice cubes
Yeah,
instantly, dude. The
yeah.
cold air hit her arms, and she decided, you know what I need? A bathrobe that's reversible,
Are you
or the.
tired of trying to read a book and having your arms cold because you can't quite? Like, it's,
But the best is like, 2 or 3 years into the Snuggie, all of a sudden we were getting team logos, bro. You were
oh
getting a
man, oh yeah.
custom.
Those were sweet. I
They got
wanted one
officially
of those so
licensed.
bad.
So that's a really good pick. Yeah, that commercial was everywhere. Adult channels, kid channels. They were targeting to all ages,
Hmm.
and so very good pick. So that was going to be my first overall pick. So
Oh,
that's a big
good.
loss there
All
from my
right.
list. Always sucks when you see that happen. But I have to take, and I don't know if I can take the whole line of products here or if you're gonna box me in,
Oh,
but I'm taking Flex Seal
yep.
because my man Phil Swift sunk a truck sealed with Flex Seal as a submarine, and it couldn't. That's must see TV. It's a commercial, but that's must watch
Yeah,
TV.
I mean, it is undoubtedly the most memed infomercial of all time. I mean, there's all like, you can find things anywhere. There's probably more stuff about the memes that people have made than about the actual product itself now. But yeah, I mean, when he took that piece of flex tape and slapped it on the
Oh,
side of the thing, I mean, instant classic.
beautiful.
That was one of the two. I was really between three. The Snuggie and Flex Seal were undoubtedly my top
Oh
two,
yeah,
though. I mean, I just think that they are classics, and I'm really sad that that one didn't make it back to me.
yeah. You missed out there.
But I think that I'm going to take one now. It may not be as classic, but I think everybody uh, has heard of this, and I've even seen it kind of pop up recently, actually, of people being like, "Does anybody remember these things?" And that is what I thought was just magic when I was a kid, and it was the fushigi.
Bro,
You remember the
what
fushigi?
even? It was a metal ball that they would just be spinning around on their hand.
Yeah,
Like
it
that
was.
was the
Well,
dumbest
it
thing
was.
ever.
Yeah, it was a glass ball, and I think it had like
Oh,
another metal ball inside of it, and so it kind of looked like it was like spinning or something. I don't know. I never had one, but they would just roll it around, and
you strike me as their target
yeah,
market.
oh, dude, I wanted one so bad. These things were so sweet. I watched those commercials and I was like, how is this possible? This is witchcraft. I mean, the things they were doing with these balls were just, I mean, fantastic work. And then like later on, and why it got brought up recently was that somebody was like, does anybody remember these? Because I actually bought one and here it is. And it was literally just like a regular ball. The
They
stupidest
just
thing.
had.
And they
I'm.
made so much money, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. That was probably like a glass ball for 4 easy payments of 49.95.
Mm-hmm.
They must have just hired illusionists or magicians, and then at the very end of the commercial, it's probably like, "This was actually done by magicians. Blah, 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 blah. You will not be able to do these tricks at home." Blah blah blah. Like they actually fleeced people because yeah, it looked mesmerizing, but the entire time you watch it, you're just like, I don't even know what this product
Yeah.
is. All I know is that it spins around and they can do like the wave across
Oh,
their
it
back
was
with
a
this glass ball.
gravity defying ball. Like
Oh,
that's what we knew. And they got a lot of people to buy into it. And so I just wanted it because I would be sad if I didn't get it because it was probably one of the ones that I wanted the most. and I'm the most glad that my parents were too smart to buy it.
Oh yeah, I mean your Christmas would have been ruined if you got the expensive fushigi and the rest of your siblings, were playing with toys that were actually functional, and you were just putting a glass ball on top of your head and trying to juggle. So I'm glad you avoided buying that one. I agree that did look awesome, but I couldn't ever verbalize why it looked awesome. It was just something that was like, oh, cool,
Yeah, for sure.
But moving along with number 4, I've got to take one, and I mean, this was the fitness era of infomercials. Huge, an hour of just shredded people doing shredded people things, telling you that you're going to get shredded, and all you have to do is follow their workout. You don't need any weights or anything. This is going to be free weight, and you are going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so I am taking P90X. I personally have never done it.
Oh,
but
that is not where I thought you were going.
Classic.
Oh, my family had P90X. I've done it. This was I mean, I was fully sold in. That I think my dad actually lost a whole bunch of weight doing it, which really, I mean, it was just working out. So like, if you got people who went from not working out to working out, they probably had some actual results. But that thing was everywhere. And the same thing with like Insanity. I assume we're not going to, take that, because that kind of just like piggybacked up. As soon as people were kind of getting off of P90X, Insanity came in and they were like, oh, you liked that? Well, this is worse.
No, yeah. Just you're watching the 10-minute commercial or 5-minute commercial. I don't remember how long they were, but every single person looked yoked. And as a little kid, I was like, man, I'd like to look like that one day. And so I thought those commercials were pretty dang sweet.
Yeah.
I never ended up, going for it. And maybe that's what I have to lack. Maybe that's what I need to get into. But also like the ab, they had the Total Gym. They had like the Ab Cruncher. Like there was so many fitness ones. I guess I kind of just needed to dive into the fitness industry just a little bit, because every time they had that little mic that goes from the ear down, by the mouth with a black puffy end and they're just doing the fitness class. Like, all right, let's go. Let's get fit. And, there was just so many of those. What an awesome time.
I was always so impressed at how they could just talk that whole time while working out. Because like I said, this is probably the only one that like we actually had and did. And so, it's a little closer to home in that sense. And I just remember first being impressed. I was like, man, how is this guy talking? And then I came to the realization that the guys who are like teaching the, whatever, like class, I guess, for lack of a better term, they didn't actually do any of the workouts. The whole time they'd like start it, do one push-up, and then the rest of the time they'd just be like up walking around, looking at everybody else that was like, behind them, because they have the beginner person that's like doing an easy one and stuff. And I'm like, this guy is cheating out. I want to do his workout where he's just standing around.
True. No, the fitness era of infomercial was wild. They were selling so many products.
And I think I'm going to follow it up with what I thought you were going to take, because it is another fitness.
I think I know.
And that is, you had to have a little bit of weight, but it was so small, and all you had to do was shake it. I'm taking the shake weight, baby. I mean, it is the most absurd of the like workout regimens that were popular.
True.
It was just,
and it's,
hey, you want toned arms? Just
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they were advertising, Blake. And it's remarkable that they were able to do so well, because on the list so far, that is probably by far the cheapest product, I think you get a shake weight for like $20, but
4 easy payments of $4.99. Yeah.
Did they ever make like 100-pound dumbbells that were shake weights? That would have been incredible.
Oh, I don't know if they came in different weights. I mean, I don't even know what kind of weight.
Shake weight.
Can you imagine going to the gym and there's just this huge guy, and he's over on the shake weight rack, just
he's just doing 100-pound shake weights. Just that would be incredible. That was an insane product. I feel like P90X, the other ones, they had some merit behind them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did the shake weight actually work? Okay.
There's no way. I mean, it's literally just moving your arms, because you're shaking this thing, but I can't believe that. I feel like shaking a regular weight would be much more of a workout than a shake weight. For whatever reason, I feel like the handle's moving, but the weights are like, staying in the same place. So you're just like moving a handle around. So I can't believe that it actually was worth anything. But hey, maybe somebody got some nice toned
It was
triceps.
it was at least an amazing commercial because when
Oh
you get
man.
45 people doing a shake weight at the same time doing a shake weight class, that makes for some hilarious TV.
Oh yeah,
So,
just a classic.
all right, next, and I'm shocked. I cannot believe this product is still around, and I'm taking the Shamwow, one of the
Mm,
most iconic infomercial products of
mm,
all
mm.
times. The towel that can hold up to 10 times paper towels worth of water.
Yeah, that's an
The
absolute
amazing Shamwow.
steal. That's an
Oh
absolute
yeah.
steal at this point in the picks. That was definitely what I was going to pick next because it is just a classic. I have no idea what happened to ShamWow now. I think just as soon as everybody found out, oh hey, you can make microfiber cloths pick up a lot of water, everybody was just on board with it. But the ShamWow first on the scene and just absolutely blew up with some
Oh yeah.
popularity. So great
And
pick. I think that's an absolute steal.
yeah, and I gotta say, this is the only product on this list so far that I have ever personally used, and I cannot believe there was a commercial hyping it up that much for a towel that is good at like absorbing water if you're washing your car. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like if you wash your car and then you just squeegeeing it off and you use the ShamWow, great.
You want
Other
to
than
know?
that,
You want to know
why
what the
didn't I watch a
ShamWow?
commercial about that?
You want to know what the ShamWow was really good at? It was picking up water, but the ShamWow was really good at just staying wet. Like you could not dry
True.
that thing out. I had like an actual like bath towel for like travel because it could fold up really small, and I could take it places.
Name brand?
No, this was off
Oh,
brand.
that's your problem.
But this thing would never dry. I mean, I was throwing wet towel into my bag every time I had to move because it just was impossible. The thing would soak up so much water. I mean, I
Yeah.
was dry as a bone after. But
And
that
the way
thing,
you wash your towel on an episode, about a year ago, probably Blake admitted to washing his towel after it after it fails the stink test.
yeah, I mean
So
that's
that towel was
normal.
probably rancid.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is that it failed the stink test really quickly
Oh,
because it just holds onto the water and doesn't dry, so it just becomes a bacteria factory. Whereas my normal towel, I'm clean, it dries, and we can keep on moving. But the ShamWow bath towel is not recommended.
well, let me suggest next time you actually buy the ShamWow
Hmm.
version and not the
Yeah,
Shammy Wahoo version.
yeah, it was the chamois. I gotta.
No, I agree. I mean, the fact that it actually made a commercial about microfiber towels and they were that hype about it, they were wiping off every surface and that people were watching it, they were content masters before their days. Like, why were we watching that and enjoying it? That's
Yeah.
kind of wild. So, it definitely needed to be on the list, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now we're getting down here to what I believe is my last pick, which is really unfortunate because I have three things left on my list that I think all deserve to be picked. And so now I got to figure out which one I want. And I'm going to go with the one, and I actually, before we started recording, I started to sing its jingle, and I didn't know if you heard or not because
I didn't catch it.
to this day, it just will randomly pop into my head because that's the oink, oink, zoo pals. Ribbit, ribbit, zoo pals.
Dude, no way. I saw those are making a
Zoo pals
comeback.
make eating fun. I mean, I
They're,
loved these things.
they're coming back, dude.
Are they actually? You can
Yeah,
get
I
zoo
just saw that
pals?
on social media. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know if you
man.
can yet, but I just saw somewhere that they're coming back. And you're right. There was nothing better than throwing your diagonally sliced sandwich in the middle,
Hmm.
your apple slices in one
Oh,
ear, and then your pretzels in the other.
yeah.
That was the ideal young lunch for me. That was what I grew up on.
Yeah.
Those were sweet.
Yeah, my family never got into the zoo pal action, which was really unfortunate. But I had a friend who had zoo pals, and I remember the first time I went over to his house, we were eating lunch, and his mom whipped out an elephant zoo pal for me, I was like, whoa, hold on. I didn't know I was living the good life right now.
Excuse me, are you royalty here?
Yeah, I had no idea I was in the presence of such wealth. So I remember it to this day because of the lasting impact that Zoo Pals has had on my life. So
You just made Christmas so much easier for me this year and all the listeners. If you are trying to send Blake some Zoo Pals, reach out. We'll make sure his dreams come true this year. No, yeah, they were sweet plates, man. And I'm glad to see him come back because I think, instead of just filling our landfill with the crappy, cheapest paper plates, the ones that are like crinkly, they got little ridges all the way around the edge, we might as well be doing it with the Zoo Pals.
Oh, man.
Nothing better.
Yeah, next barbecue season, I want only Zoo Pals.
That's a bold move, like an actual,
Thanksgiving?
a work bar. Okay, yeah. That's actually could be the move. Bringing some Zoo Pals with you wherever you go.
Zoo Pal for Thanksgiving. I mean, you're not doing any dishes.
You're onto something.
You're separating your stuffing from your turkey, from your Jello. I mean, this is.
And what you're doing is nobody's gonna be talking politics because somebody's gonna be like, yeah, I wanted the monkey and I got the hippo. And it's gonna be great.
So let's not get out of ourselves. People are still going to be fighting, but it will instead be about elephants versus pigs instead of
much better.
Yeah. So I'm great.
I thought you were gonna say elephants versus donkeys, and I was gonna be like, Blake,
yeah,
come on, man.
I had
to. All right, Zoo Pals, great pick. Glad they're coming back. And that leaves me with the last pick, and I'm torn between two right here. And one, I had to look up the name, so I don't think I can go with that one. It's definitely going to be honorable mention for me, and I'll tell you it a little bit later. But the first is another jingle that, to me, will never leave my brain, and that is, it's a pillow. It's a pet.
It's a pillow.
It's a pillow pet. There is nothing. And I didn't even like these, but that's one of the commercials that stuck with me. So that's why, you've got to go with the pillow pet. I never had one. I think I was a little bit too old. My younger brother and sister both had one or multiple pillow pets.
Wow.
And they loved them. And personally, I like a what am I looking for? A pillowcase that isn't furry. So I don't think it would be for me. I still think it's an iconic.
I don't love when my pillow has Velcro on part of it. That sounds
that'd be bad news with facial hair, dude.
Oh man, I mean it's already Velcro on this. So then I just got both sides. I'm gonna be waking up and it's gonna be swinging from my cheeks like it. So
yeah, it's definitely an iconic commercial. There were so many animals, and I think that's one that also got licensed. So all of a sudden you're seeing your favorite teams or whatever on a pillow pet, and that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked it because I was torn. I didn't want to leave pillow pets off, and I didn't know what you were going to pick, but I had to go with Zoo Pal. So I'm glad you got it so that it could be included because I think it earned it. It had a great run. It's a household name. Everybody knows what a pillow pet is, and fantastic. Did you have any others that you want to give as honorable mentions?
Yeah, so this one was definitely way before my time, but I think it'd be awesome, and it deserves a comeback, and that is the Flowbee, the vacuum hair cutting machine that you can do on yourself. So it
I've never even heard of
the
this.
hair. It's amazing. You got to go watch the video. It vacuums the hair up and then cuts it at a specific length. So I think you can only
you know what? I do
cut one length.
That. I have seen this now, actually. I remember that because I remember thinking, that's incredible. Barbers
best
are
idea
going
ever.
out of business. Sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, the CEO probably actually thought that. You know what I mean? He was like, haircuts, you're not gonna have to go to them anymore. There's not gonna be any more barbers. We are gonna run them out of business. And unfortunately, I don't think they lasted very long.
I'll tell you what, though, any of these products, that's the dream because you have a good 3-year run, if that, where you are just raking in the money. And then you don't have to work anymore. You get to retire. You're done. You will forever be known as the Fushigi guy. But guess what? I'm certain that guy's on a yacht somewhere right now, living life. So I think we need to come up with our very own infomercial product so that we can quit and just
that would be amazing.
Live our lives.
I think we would be good at it too. I think we could really present something in a catchy way.
Yeah, we have to get that one guy. The one guy
Anthony Richardson?
who did all of the Anthony Richardson is a quarterback.
Anthony Richardson.
Oh no, I meant
That's a Shamwow guy.
Anthony Richardson is the quarterback for the Colts.
No, look this up.
I promise you, if I Google Anthony Richardson right now, I'm looking it up.
Okay,
Hold on.
Don't look up NFL. Look up Anthony Richardson.
I'll look up voice acting. Anthony
Richardson.
No, they're all.
No, okay. Anthony Richardson commercial.
I don't think this is a thing. I'll tell you what, though. Whoever this guy is, it's obviously not Anthony Richardson because that's totally unrelated.
It's got to be close. Let me look up. It's a Shamwow guy.
But whoever did it, he did all of the infomercials. I think like it was the same guy. He's got the real job figured out because he doesn't have to take on any of the risk. He doesn't have to come up with the product. All he has to do is just get hyped up about something. Just 4 low payments of $5.99, and I think that's what my dream job would be. Actually,
the other one I had on my list of honorable mention is the Clapper, which was clap on, clap off.
Oh,
remember the light switches?
Yep,
that was crazy.
Dude, I mean,
before smart switches, that seemed absolutely phenomenal.
I thought if you had one of these, you had to be the richest person in America. Like,
oh yeah,
in the world.
You were eating on Zoo Pals for sure.
Yeah, you had Zoo Pals in the kitchen and clap on lights. You know, I can't imagine having those. I want to see if we can program Alexa to and turn my lights off. If I can get that, I'll splurge and get the smart bulbs because that would be worth it to me to live my childhood dream of being rich. Eat off of a Zoo Pal, and when I'm done, and the show's over.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I think you said it, Blake. I think you said you had an honorable mention?
I did, yeah. The only one I had was moon shoes, which I don't know if you remember. I actually had a pair of moon shoes.
Did they work?
No, because I don't know if I was just like too fat of a little kid, but I would bottom out every time. So like I tried to jump, but I just hit the ground, my knees would buckle. And they were so hard to walk in that it never worked. Like you could jump, but you weren't getting any higher than you usually would because the shoes.
You thought you were gonna dunk, guaranteed.
Oh man, I thought I was going to be jumping over my house. Forget dunking. And no, I was not. I think I had like a negative vertical when that happened. I think I could jump higher without them than I could with. So it unfortunately it didn't work, but I had to include them because I did have them.
I don't know why visualizing you jumping over your house with a basketball in hand was the funniest thing I thought about all day. But that wraps up a great episode, Blake. You got anything for the listeners on the way out today?
No, I think we about covered it.
All right, make sure you're following us on Instagram at PM in the AM Podcast so you can vote to see which infomercial is the best in your opinion. We'll be posting that starting next week, so make sure you're following us there. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Peace out.
Congrats on making it all the way to the end. We hope you enjoyed the show. You are now officially part of the PM in the AM fan base, the morning people, and we are super pumped to have you here. Now that you're a part of the crew, please share the episode with a friend, and make sure to check out the rest of our shows and social media content for more hilarious brackets, crazy questions, and an overall great time. Thanks for listening. It truly means a lot to us, and we'll catch you guys next week.